Hello, hello, JJ DiGeronimo here, and I'm really excited for this conversation. Channeling has been something that has been bubbling up for me for years. I have been working with channeling teachers, and I feel like my channeling abilities have really come to the forefront over the last few months in times I definitely wasn't expecting it.
Mm.
I've had been part of healing circles and just small group experiences where I'm getting messages for people, which, my first response is, yeah, I'm not going to
Mm.
say that out loud. But eventually, through the time that I'm with these people, I'm like, do you mind? Can I share this with you? And so I'm so excited to have Pamela Downes with me today because her work, her journey, her community is pretty spectacular. And there's so much she offers. But what I'm really hoping to focus in today is trance channeling. It's a topic I really haven't dove into for all of you. And I think it would be great to just get to know Pamela and talk about really this one focus where she has very many. But what does this mean for people and how do you tap into it? And is it possible for everybody? So, Pamela, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so excited to be here today.
I've been watching some of your videos on YouTube, and you have such a great following and such a great message,
Thank
really
you.
anchoring into self and leading from a place of knowing. And so,
Mm.
how did this come forward for you?
Hmm. It came forward for me as something I never thought or knew I would ever do in my life. I was a professional marketer, musician, creative, singer. They're the things that I was good at for my entire life. And after a week-long ayahuasca journey, I was just writing down my experience to be hopefully a part of a book that the people I was with at Rhythmium are writing. But my experience was I was on my healing journey. I was listening, which is what I say. You hear the whisper, you listen, you answer it, and then you're living it, right? By putting one foot in front of the other. And I was doing just that. I was on my healing journey, and ayahuasca was something I started having knowings. I started being pulled in certain directions. I started having experiences, seeing the evidence of my life changing and situations presenting themselves over and over and over again, that you can't deny that you need to move forward when that starts happening. You continue to do it. And what I was doing was ultimately repairing my soul body, heightening my frequency and my energetic body to a point where I was able to be a kind of a conduit to meet these energies where they were at so that I could receive information and I could channel. And I didn't set out to do it. It's nothing I aspired to do in the very beginning of my spiritual awakening journey. I used to watch this movie called Tuning In over and over and over again. And it was like five different trance channelers who were being interviewed for a documentary style movie, and they were all asked the same questions and they all answered them at different times, and they kind of sliced and diced and put all their answers together. And I was so fascinated by the information that they would bring forward, and I would always hear something different every time I listened to it. Well, I was really being drawn to it because that was my soul's purpose. That was what my future held. Looking back now, I can say that. um, but through the ayahuasca journey, at the very end of my week-long retreat, after doing lots and lots of trauma, healing this life and past lives, and elevating my frequency, at the end of that trip, this white light came through my third eye, filled my whole body up. My head was crackling, my body was vibrating, and I heard, your psychic abilities have been enhanced. Everything from this day forward will be different. And that's exactly what happened. And that was right at the cusp of right before COVID. And I came back from the retreat center in Costa Rica, and I kept feeling pulled to go within rather than getting stuck in front of a television and watching the news and the negative stream of energy. I kept being called to go within and go within. And I started having an energy trying to get in my atlas in the back of my head. I had all this pressure, I had all of this energy. And I worked with someone to help me like anchor that energy and understand it. And when I did that and I worked continually every morning, I started with light language and it shot down like lightning. And I heard it going. It was like it just took over, and I could hear it. I have every bit of it recorded and journaled, and that was the very beginning of my guides and other beings and angelic beings and ETs. We call them and we label them all different things of what we know from our experience in this three-dimensional reality. But, they're high frequency, they're all different frequency beings in different dimensions, and we live in the fifth dimension or the third dimension, and a lot of them live in the fifth dimension. So it's a higher frequency. So there's like a calibration that had to happen, and we got to this place where the information could kind of transfer. So that's how it started. It wasn't an easy answer, but that's that's exactly how it started, JJ.
Well, that is beautiful. And for anyone who's been listening a while, I mean, the words frequency, transmission, information, digging
Alignment.
out the energy that's no longer serving you, creating yourself as a conduit. All of
Yes.
this is so familiar to my audience because this
Mhm.
is the work I had to do. And so I've been sharing this not only through my book Seeking, but also through this podcast because I believe that anyone that's attracted to my frequency
Mhm.
has a gift or an ability that's already awakened or ready to awaken.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty excited to share these stories with them because I think many people can see themselves in
Yes.
many of the guests. And I love the fact that you really honed in of you like this wasn't what I planned and I was in corporate and marketing and this kind of came through because I was trying to heal my soul. And I think many of us are pushed to heal our souls, which really is the door opener for our next level of awakening.
Mhm. Yeah. And when we start that spiritual journey, whether it's one thing that you're attracted to, you're putting one foot in front of the other, and you're just discovering and expanding and realizing and exploring. And you don't know that you're starting your healing journey. You don't know that, but that's ultimately what happens. And it's a remembrance. It's finding
Mhm.
yourself. It's a remembrance of your spiritual being, of leading and living with your spirit first, and not your brain and your physical body. It's the reverse of that. So you have to learn what that is. There were several experiences while I was in the beginning of my healing journey that were like dynamic, memorable, like rocking me to the point where I'm like, this is something and I can't ignore it. And I need to learn more. I had my heart open at a Reiki share. I went to a Reiki share, which is like the funniest thing ever. Someone's like, do you want to learn about Reiki? And I was like, yeah. You can go and get worked on by like 5 Reiki practitioners at the same time at this yoga studio. And I was like, cool. And I was the last person to get on the table, and like 5 people worked on me at the same time. And I had like this swelling, wow, wow. And I started howling. I had the hugest release in my heart chakra. Thank God I was last because I would have scared everyone that was waiting on the floor to go if I was first. But that moment, they're pivotal moments. And those kinds of moments happen to me continually over and over and over again. And right before I went to do ayahuasca, I knew I was going to Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. I knew I was going the moment I saw it. I had a knowing. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. I didn't know how I would pay for it, but I knew I was going there. I didn't have to figure it out. The universe put someone in front of my world that invited me to something, that introduced me to someone. I got handpicked and placed and put into this small group of people that were going. They were shutting the whole place down and only having 40 people there. And like those things happen, they happen for a reason, but you have to say yes to them. That's always what I say, is you have to say yes to them, because it's within the conviction, it's within the desire, it's within that wanting to know more, where then that's revealed to you. And then you continually say yes, say yes, say yes. And then you just can't say anything but yes.
I agree, and I have a lot of yeses. I do all kinds of things, and people are like, "How did you find out about it?" I'm like, "Well, it found me."
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah,
what happens. And they're like, "I can't believe you're gonna go do this." I'm like, "I
you
can't
have
say
to.
no." Like, if it crosses my desk and it piques my interest, like, then I go. And
Mhm,
even if I'm doing it by myself, even if,
mhm.
I'm kind of juggling 7 things to make it happen, like, I'm really honor the whispers and the things that cross my path, especially the ones that cross multiple times.
Yes, absolutely, because
Like whizzing right. I
Mhm,
know, I know. So you've been on this journey for a while now,
mhm,
and the work that you're doing that really caught my attention was trans channeling. So can
mhm.
you tell us a little bit about what is trans channeling?
Yeah, it started out with just connecting, and then they started giving me visions, and they started talking to me. And then I started writing. So once I was able to, there's a physicality to it because I'm in the dimensional reality, and they're so high frequency that we had to work together. Every morning we had to work together to try to calibrate, to try to ease the physicality. And you can see when I channel live, I still have like something in my neck that is still creating contrast, and I move like this. And but we're pretty fluid. And I did that for a while, and I had to practice with them. And, there's something about them. They're integrated in me. I can pull them in at any time. They talk to me all the time. But it started out with the knowings, the hearings, the visions. And then I don't know how it started. I started automatic writing. So I kind of, in both circumstances, I close my eyes and I call them in, and they come right in immediately. And I'm there, I'm present, but I'm sort of off to the side. And this this information just pours in, and my fingers go and I type really fast because I was a pianist my whole life. So it's just it comes out. And I have no idea what's coming out. I really don't when I'm typing. It's just this beautiful messages. And when I have to go back and I read it, and I can't even believe my eyes. It's so beautiful. Sometimes in the middle of it, they'll throw in a course. Sometimes they'll tell me things that I don't even know that I need to know yet, until there's something that happens and I'm like, oh, and I go back and there's, it's all there. Like the future is there. The things that I'm about to experience are there. It's incredible. Um, but what I've always known since I started working with them in 2020 was that they told me there's a glass ceiling that's going to break. People are going to stop in their tracks. They're not going to know who and what this world is that they've believed in. They're going to need a safe place to land. Build a portal to support humanity. They need a safe place to land. And I'm like, what the heck is a portal? I mean, what is that? And that's how it started. They started telling me to prepare people, telling me. And at the time, I was folding an 18-year-old business into a new business, which is now 6 years old. It's my primary business. And I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, this isn't on my list of things I'm going to accomplish this year. And so I put it off a little bit at a time. And then I finally launched it in January. And now, about 2 months ago, they told me, Pamela, it's time to share your visions, your premonitions, your downloads, all the information that we're giving you to assist humanity. They want to help us through these trying times. They want to help us to understand that we are all individual frequencies. We are part of the collective, but we hold our own frequency. And we need to do anything and everything to hold ourselves in high regard and to elevate our frequency so that we're knocked down. We're not knocked down with the wave of chaos that's coming, so that we can stand strong, know who we are, what we believe in, how to understand what is before us, and to have community. So you have your community. I have my community. It's imperative and it's so important. So I am able to now transfer these messages from the Great Council of Light to my community, but now to humanity. It's starting now for me. I'm stepping into my big girl shoes, and it's like,
I'd be curious where Saturn is in your birth chart because my
yeah,
Saturn's going into my 10th house. I'm curious if that's the same for you.
I
So I
wonder.
want to get into the Great Council of Light, but let me just create a clarifying question. So many people know channeling. They've heard of channeling, like I get messages, it comes
Mhm.
through, but why do you put trans channeling together?
Good question. Because many people do channel, they don't even know it. And you're doing art, you're doing music, you're writing, you're in your book, you're in a thought, you've got ideas. It's all channeling. It's all of it. Everything we do when we're in inspiration. So, like I said before, we're using labels that we know, that we are putting words
Mm.
around things to help us understand. The trance channeling part is that I sort of, like I said before, I step to the side, I step to the background. I'm present, but I'm sort of in a little bit of my consciousness is in the background. So I'm sort of in a
Mhm.
little bit of a trance. I'm sort of in a little
Yes,
bit of a trance. I don't
that
always
makes sense.
remember what I'm saying. I don't always remember what I'm typing, but I'm there. And some people, when you put it out to a broad audience, like you're putting information out to your community and you're hoping to reach others, and some are on their journey, some are not. They don't understand trance channeling. They don't understand channeling, but they think that I'm just allowing any old being, an entity to take over my body. And it's not like that at all. I, through a crash course of 4 years, experience all kinds of beings. I know what they feel like. I know what those lower dimensional beings and lower frequency beings feel like. I know what ill intent beings feel like. The guides are super high frequency. They teach of love. So you can't have, it's like light and dark. You can't have dark in a light room. It won't exist, right? So it's the same way. There's really dark beings are not able to permeate me at this level of my vibration right now. That used to be when I was experiencing and working on my soul body, on my frequency. I had to learn. It's like learning a language. It's like learning a score of music. You have to work through it to understand it, and that's the only way if you're going to do it, because it's experiential learning. So yeah, it's interesting, and it's not a very used. There's not a hashtag for it. When I was looking on how I'm going to promote myself, because I was promoting my portal before, I wasn't promoting me. I had no intention of being this like channeler that's putting these messages out to the world. I'm doing what my soul's purpose is, and so my team and I researched. There's not a lot of trance channeling hashtags. There's not a lot of people who do what we're doing that present themselves that way because it's not known. It's being more it's more in the public eye now. It's being more
Yes.
talked about now. And so I am a living example of that. And everyone can do this. Like you said, everyone is born with an energetic soul body. Everyone has a frequency. Everyone has pineal gland. Everyone has clairsenses. We are all connected to all that is the infinite intelligent beings that we are. We are all galactic beings. We're not special. We are all. We are everyone, everything. I am that I am. So it's pretty cool.
I love that. And like you, I've been attracted to so many books about this. Like, I think it's Bringer of the Dawn, right? Is
Mm,
Palladian's book, Conversations with God,
yeah.
Dawn, and then Jane Roberts, right? Jane
Hmm.
Roberts did trans channeling before
Yeah.
even anyone knew what trans channeling was. So,
Yeah.
like you, those are the books I mean, I read them again, I read them
And
again.
again, yeah.
It's like I just can't get enough out of them. And it's funny because I think many of our whispers and even our gifts are hidden in what we are attracted to, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And
Well, and I
I'm
love that you talk about frequency. Like, I don't, I'm not here doing all this ash and lights. And I mean, I have definitely we have my sticks,
mhm,
that I light them for different retreats and stuff, but I'm not doing that to myself anymore. Like you, like I know that I'm at a certain frequency
mhm,
now that I don't need to be doing all this nonsense. I just need to ground in, and it happens like that. And then I just need to open up and just be like, what are the messages? And
mhm,
so I love the fact that you do that in the morning. I think it's a great
mhm,
practice that most of us don't do that as much as we can. But I think for anybody who's just trying to kind of get started with this, I mean, what
mhm.
type of messages would you give them? Like, if you kind of know you have things to share, but you're not doing it, what are some of the things that you share with people that come your way?
Yeah, this is really a common conversation now because people are feeling called and they're
Yeah.
excited. They want to break free of the systems that we've been born into. And I have people who have left really severely restrictive organized religions who are finding their way. Not, there's nothing wrong with religion, but this person's experience was very excruciating at a very young age, and they're finding their way to me, and they're finding their way to their soul's purpose, and they're finding their way to their talents and their unique abilities and everything that they're supposed to bring now to the world at this time, and they want to, they're excited about it. I tell people, someone posted in my community today how they found a sharpened pencil on a shelf. They live by themselves. They don't know how it got there. They don't know what, like I said, take a picture of it. This is now your time to start. What did I tell you last week? You're going to start writing this channeling, start writing your thoughts, start writing your experiences, start putting it down. I have 16,000 notebooks around here. One that's pivotal that I look at all the time. It's from 2020. And it's where I have all every morning, everything I just talked about. And I go and I look at it because it was a pivotal moment in my life. My Rhythmia Life Advancement Center experience is over there. they're our reality now. And when you can go and look back, you see your growth, you
Yeah.
see your evolution, you see your courageousness, you see the opportunity that you gave yourself. It's making me excited because it's true, and
Well,
you
it's
are
illuminating me. I mean, all of a sudden everything is so light over here, and I get a lot, they
yeah,
come to my office all the time, but I think this is so exciting. I think this is so exciting that now is the time because you
yeah.
probably have known for at least a decade now that something was coming. You didn't really know it, but
Mhm,
in your bones, like I felt it in my bones, like something is coming. I don't know what I'm
mhm,
preparing for, but I'm running around
mhm.
preparing. And the lessons were small and direct, but they didn't make a lot of sense. And
Mhm.
now you can start to feel the frequency
Yeah,
of so many of us connecting. Like, I
yeah.
believe this is the time where the light workers are going to start to work together
Mhm,
to really help magnetize the frequency, elevate the
mhm,
frequency, I think. And so, bringing mystics together, the light workers together to do things can be so potent and so
mhm.
powerful. And people are going to come even if they don't know why they're coming.
We're lighthouses. We're shining our light, and every single person who comes to your community, who comes to my community, they are holding a vibration and a frequency in their own light. It's like a
Mm.
lifesaver for how many other people out in the world they are. It's incredible to think about it. I posted this morning in my community. There's a little thing that says recently active members to take a screenshot, and I posted. I'm like, look at these beautiful faces. You're coming in here and you're charging this platform. You're making it radiate even brighter so more people can see it, whether you know it or not. And it's everyone who's having a pull towards something greater. And everyone right now, JJ, there's like such a shift happening. Every business meeting I go to, a networking event, I'm going to a dinner with these women tonight for work. Spirituality comes up everywhere. It comes up everywhere at the nail salon, like everywhere. And so everyone they want to learn, they want to explore, they're seeking truth. They're seeking truth and they want to find it.
I love this. I love this. And I feel like I only got to like a few things I wanted to ask you. So I would love for you to come back another
Yes,
time because
I
I
would love.
just feel like there's so much more we can share and discuss. And oh, I just love your energy, but I love your energy. I love your journey, but I love what you're doing for other people to make it
Thank
so
you.
accessible. So your links are below, but is there anything you want to share before we're wrapping up here?
I think just to tell everyone that they are important, that they do matter. And I want everyone to stop fighting. If you can just stop fighting about little things that aren't important and reclaim that energy and put it back into yourself,
Mm.
start with one thing, especially now in our world. The next couple of weeks, things are escalating, and that's it. And I would love to come back for sure.
I would love that, and maybe you could even come to this portal I have on Lake
Yeah,
Erie. It's unbelievable. It's really something. We did a Starseed event there last summer, and it was unbelievable. So, and
amazing.
I look forward to connecting you with some of the women and men that I know
Thank
for
you.
sure. Lou has come to me while we were talking, so I'll have to connect the two of you. But
Yay.
thank
Yeah.
you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you
It's my
so
pleasure.
much for joining me, and I look forward to continue our conversation.
The same. Thank you so much, JJ.
Mm. For all of you out there, we hope you share, like, and respond. How did you feel about this? How did this make you feel? Did something bubble up that you've been thinking about? Let us know. We want to hear about it, and we look forward to seeing you again here. So, with that, we'll see you again next time. Thanks, Pamela.
Thank you. Bye bye.